Alright, England 6, Iran 2. Here are 10 points that I picked up from this game, and we're going to have a little talk about them. Number 1, Bellingham baller. What impressed me most was his ability to drop deep and get the ball from the centre backs and then either drive forward with a run or find a pass in between the lines. For such a young lad to take that responsibility to drop deep rather than leave that to a Declan Rice or a more senior player shows his maturity in his game already. He just had some very nice pieces of play in general, and I'm really looking forward to the rest of the tournament from him. He's just constantly adding tens of millions onto his price every single game, isn't he? Number 2, supreme composure across the park, bar one player, but we'll get into him soon. Even though it's the first game of the tournament, England showed composure on the ball in most situations, if not all. This could be due to the team they were playing, Iran, could be due to their press, whatever, but you always have to compete against the players in front of you, and it's England and they don't always do that, do they? Their composure on the ball, the passes they found, just looked a lot better and sharper than their opposition. Which leads me on to point number 3, sharp passing, especially from the centre backs and deep lying midfielders in general. Constantly finding passes in between the lines to the midfielders, switches out wide, good stuff from the England players. And even though this is only the first game of the tournament, it's a good look for the rest of the tournament as they're looking so sharp so early, rather than finding the sharpness later on in the tournament. Number 4, is this Rashford's and Saka's potential road to redemption from the Euros final. Saka in particular had a brilliant game, 2 goals. The first one was a lovely half volley, I think it was, and the second was a cut inside, not too dissimilar to a Lionel Messi type goal. Constant cutting in, constant faking, and finally slotting it home with a nice guided pass into the net. Hopefully. Possible road to redemption. And Saka repaid the manager's faith in choosing him over the likes of Phil Foden, but Rashford also may have given him a headache for when he came on, proving impactful and getting a goal. Food for thought for the manager. Number 5, we got to talk about the boy Jack Grealish. Finally scored a goal. It's his first in official competition. An impactful substitution from the bench. There was a nice drive in the centre of midfield, driving forward, eventually getting fouled of course. But that's what you want to see more of from him and that type of player. Coming in field, receiving the ball and driving up the pitch. And to cap it off, he got his goal from very unselfish play from Callum Wilson, especially since he's a striker just coming on at the World Cup. To not take that himself was very unselfish, and to set up Jack Grealish for his goal. And we're going to talk about that celebration for the young Man City fan Finlay, who has cerebral palsy, dedicated that goal to him, which is lovely to see. Number 6, Kane the creator. Kane playing this creator role again rather than being a typical number 9 staying up top a la Erling Haaland, just staying in the box waiting for a service. He decided to drop deep as he usually does and provide this role himself to others. Just think of Sterling's goal. Dropped deep, got the ball, crossed it in from the wing. Didn't even look for when he was crossing the ball, because as a striker he knows what kind of balls he wants into the box, and he probably knows that the likes of Raheem Sterling are quick enough and have the intelligence to make that run, which Sterling is quite good at, to be fair. Which leads me on to point number 7. Impressive from Sterling. Despite his performances for Chelsea as of late, maybe not up to the high standards that he proved at City in his many years there, Sterling seemed like a threat throughout, especially with some of driving runs infield, a bit like Jack Grealish himself, and capping it off with a fine goal from intelligent play, moving across the face of goal and tapping home. A goal that he didn't have to think too much about, which is the type of goals and the type of chances that Sterling will put away most of the time. If he has to think, on the other hand, maybe not. But an impressive display despite his form. That's what I want to see in an England shirt. Number 8, the only negative for England in general really is Trippier's performance. Constant inaccurate passes, just passing it into spaces rather than to feed or to players, just more passes hoping that players would get on the end of them. And most of the time they didn't. Centre-backs cut them out. A few straight passes in midfield as well that got taken advantage of and counter-attacks ensued. Just a bit of a sloppy performance from Kieran Trippier, and once Kyle Walker is back, that'll put immense pressure on him for that right-back slot. It's just something to look on moving forward when you play harder teams, especially in the knockout phases. You can't be giving away passes and chances as easily as that. Number 9 now. penalty madness. In fairness, I don't think any of the fouls or penalties in the game. Maguire's chance or Maguire's penalty shot was a lot more of a penalty than the one that Iran was given, but considering the score, that's probably why it was given. But these sort of fouls cannot be given because, as Roy Keane said, there will be a record amount of fouls given, especially in the Argentina game today. Messi's goal was arguably to be another arguable one. It's a contact sport, it's not basketball. We need to have some sort of contact. I get if he's not looking at it, that there's a bit more wiggle room to argue it's a foul, but still, it just encourages more diving down, more dragging defenders onto you and then falling over. It's just a recipe for disaster, isn't it? But if the Iran one was a penalty, Maguire's one was definitely a penalty. And number 10, finishing off on a positive note for England, impressive centre-back performances. General John Stones and Harry Maguire as well both had impressive performances at centre, constantly dealing with threats, long balls, and more importantly, constantly finding passes through the lines into midfield for the likes of Bellingham, for the likes of Mount, to then play it forward and be on the front foot constantly. Rather than passing side to side, waiting for openings, taking those openings, even the small openings, and finding them players and driving forward with the ball. It's impressive attacking play, especially for Harry Maguire. Poor club form, not being selected, but rose to the occasion this time, which should be a massive confidence boost for him in the future. There was one instance in the second half, I'm pretty sure, Harry Maguire stepping out of the defence to hold up an attacker or tackle him. He didn't manage to get the ball, but what he did do, which I was happy about, is he shielded the ball from going in the direction of the dangerous player rather than sticking to his left centre back spot. He kind of turned and shielded the right side, the right centre back slot, where there was dangerous runs being made, which was very impressive and what I like to see. Even though he didn't get the ball, he still managed to stop an attack just from his positioning as a defender. I know that was 10, but just a few extra things now. Good subs from Gareth Southgate, bringing on players at the right time, the right players to come on, bringing on fresh legs, as seen with Grealish and Rashford, is now giving more squad confidence with those two players now in confidence, and especially Gareth Southgate's words about Callum Wilson and his unselfishness to play to Grealish, that must be given confidence to a whole host of players now going further into the tournament. That will be key. Another extra point is the formation he played for the back. Stay with it. None of this 3 or 5 at the back anymore. When your defence is possibly the weakest part of your squad, why play more of them, play more attackers, do the Man City way and just outscore the opposition. So yeah, those are my 10-ish so points about the England game. England 6, Iran 2. Let me know in the comments below your thoughts on the game, your thoughts on the team moving forward, and of course, like and subscribe. Y'all here? Yes. Get it done. Yeah.